All right, excellent. And thank you to everyone who is joining us today. I am pleased to be joined by the academic director of the MSM program, Kris Muir. Kris, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to kick it off to you and allow you to share your screen and get us started here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Phil, for the invitation. And I can't see student faces, but I know you're out there, and I'm really excited to meet you today virtually and hopefully meet you in person on day one of orientation. I also teach in the program. So my name is Kris Muir. As Phil said, academic director for the MSM program. I'm a faculty member in the management and organization department. So I teach courses throughout Mendoza. And I do teach in the MSM program, which is one of the more exciting parts of my job. So not only do I get to work with the students, help them throughout their journey while they're in Mendoza, but also I do get to teach you directly and learn about you. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now, and hopefully we'll be able to see everything. Let's see, I've got desktop 3 here. I think we can. Okay, I'm gonna actually stop the share and bring it over to the other screen. Make this a little bit easier for me. There we go. All right, Phil, can you guys see the screen? Excellent.
Yep, we're good.
Perfect. Well, so I'll share a couple slides with you, but then definitely there's an opportunity for Q&A. I can't see the chat. Phil, obviously, will you just let me know if there's any questions there at the end in the chat? So I want to start with this beautiful shot of Notre Dame. I came to Notre Dame 2 years ago. Many of you drawn to the allure of the academic rigor of the institution, but also just the phenomenal culture that is everything Notre Dame. It truly is a special, magical place. You feel that even more so when you're on campus and in the community. And even through the challenges that we faced this past year, as many of you have likely faced either at Notre Dame or whatever your undergraduate institution is, you have still felt the power of the community come together as a force against really everything that needs to be all the challenges that we face. So Grow the Good in Business is a big vision for Mendoza, and I'm going to talk specifically about how MSM aligns with that. So this is what I'd like to chat with you about today, just as a quick agenda. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. I want to give you a broad overview. If there are any specific questions you want me to go into more detail with, I'm happy to do that either through this webinar, or I'll put my email address at the end. You're welcome to reach out to me. I always appreciate talking to potential students, so please do ask any and all questions. So first, the Mendoza vision of Grow the Good in Business. You know, this is something that we take very personally, very seriously here at the Mendoza College of Business, and then within the MSM program itself, we see our role in supporting that for our students in providing obviously a very rigorous academic graduate degree, but also a set of courses and a set of experiences that really help students see the bigger picture. I mean, there are bigger challenges that we face today, obviously, that we didn't face a year ago or 2 years ago as a society, as a community, as a global really human race, as it were. And so we really feel like this is an important part of Mendoza. So MSM as a program, I'll mention a couple of the courses to you, and I'll tell you the courses that you would take in the program. But we do have this thread throughout of finding ways in which we can emphasize the bigger picture, right? It's important to know how to create a financial statement. It's important to know how to read a balance sheet. It's important to know how to create value proposition. It's important to lead teams. All these things are valuable parts of working in any organization. But it's also important to consider the broader picture, right? To think critically, but also to think ethically and make ethical decisions. So we actually have an ethics course built into our program. It's embedded into our program, something we're really proud of. So also specifically with regard to the MSM, I think it's important to share with students, you know, some of the back end stuff, right? This is sort of a peek behind the curtain. You know, when I meet with with the members of the team that support the MSM program, that whether that's faculty or admissions or marketing or student services, we are all supporting the same set of goals, which is to become one of the premier MSM programs. That is our number one goal, and that does drive us. And the second thing is to provide students this exceptional experience. We want that inside the classroom. We want you to be challenged in the classroom. We want you to feel like you're taking really, really hard classes, but hard in a good way. They're stretching you. They're making you see the world differently. They're giving you skills that you can use in the marketplace. But you're also connecting with your faculty. You know who they are, right? You know a little bit about them. You feel a connection. But it's not just inside the classroom, right? It's outside the classroom. We want you to feel part of the Mendoza community. We want you to have access to our team rooms. We want you to come to our tailgates this fall, hopefully. We want you to be a part of that community. So that's our second goal. And the third goal is to connect you with our vast network of former students. One of the things that's really exciting is our dean very recently, probably in the last 3 or 4 months, actually named a new director of graduate relations. And so this person, we now have a person who's dedicated to connecting MSM students as well as MBA students and other graduate programs with the vast Mendoza network. So we're really excited about that. In terms of the way we see the MSM degree and your life, we wanna share this visual. So I kind of think of how you would combine the MSM degree with your undergraduate degree and set of experiences in the shape of a T, right? So I like this T analogy. We like to consider the fact that you have this depth of knowledge already that you bring with us, or you bring to us. Maybe you were an engineering student, maybe you're a sociology student, maybe you're an English literature student. Regardless of your background, you bring a very specialized set of frameworks for how to view the world, skills for how to think through problems. And that depth is really, really important. But what we feel like we provide you at the MSM program is a much broader breadth of a variety of business classes. So you'll take classes in every single academic department in the business school, right? You're going to take accounting, you're going to take finance, management, obviously, information technology and analytics, as well as marketing. So you're going to take this breadth of courses, but I don't want you to come away with the MSM program as just broad, sort of shallow dive, right? We're also going to go deep, right? So the breadth of the MSM program actually supports your undergraduate degree by then also going deeper. So you're going to go much deeper into these courses, even though you're taking a principles of finance course or principles of marketing course. It's not the same course that an undergraduate would take. You're going to go deeper because we know you're a graduate student and we know you're looking for a little bit more here. But that's how I would think about it. I think the great thing about the MSM degree is it's allowing you to marry, if as it were, your current undergraduate degree with where you want to take that, or even if you don't know exactly where you want to take that, it's providing you with this breadth of technical skills and almost a language around business for you to be able to use that. So I think the T analogy is really essential in understanding what the MSM can do for you. So in terms of an academic overview, this is very broad, but I thought it would be helpful for me just to say a couple things. So the MSM program, it's a couple years old. I think 2013 was our first year. Every single year, we're refining it, making it better, but we stay at our core as a residential program. So what that means is we want students to come to campus. We want students to attend classes face-to-face. We want them to feel a part of that community. And so that's our expectation. From June, when you get here for orientation, to May, when you graduate, you be in class, attending in person that entire time, with breaks in between, and I can talk specifically about those. But we are a residential program. We, like many schools, pivoted this past year. All of our summer courses last summer were online, 100% online, because of COVID, obviously, and some of the university requirements. We did very well with that pivot and with that shift. Our faculty were extremely flexible at learning some new things, and I myself had taught online, and so I was really excited to have that opportunity. We are planning for face-to-face classes in the summer, but I just tell you that, if we had to go to that environment, we are prepared for that. We are a residential program. We are lockstep in sequence with our courses. And what I mean by that is, you take the courses in the sequence that we have structured them. So we don't really bounce around with the courses like you would say in an undergraduate program. We do have some electives available, and I'll talk about those here in a couple minutes. So we're really excited. Our program has grown substantially, and we are now at the point where we are able to offer 2 cohorts. And what that means is we still want everyone to feel part of the one MSM community, but we have 2 sections of every course. And we want to do that for a couple of reasons. The main reason is we want to shrink the size of our classes. Some programs have extremely large classes, and we want our classes to still have that that close-knit feel that you have had maybe at your undergraduate institution. And then we also want to point out here that we have career courses actually built into the program. So I'll talk about that specifically when I get to Bridge to Success. But that's the academic overview. We're a 38 credit hour program. We go from June to May, lockstep. And there may be some questions around the program as we go through this. I'll be happy to answer those. So diving into the actual semesters, we divide our semesters into 3. So we'll have a summer semester, a fall semester, and a spring semester. The summer courses are listed over here. What I will say about the summer is it is certainly challenging. It has historically been the most challenging semester of all 3 semesters for our students. I think in part because many students aren't accustomed to taking so many courses over the summer, obviously at the graduate level. Many of these courses are very quantitative in nature, and so that may be a shift for some students. But I can tell you this, hundreds of students have successfully completed the summer courses and made it through. So it's sort of a bonding moment for all the cohort to come together and work through these courses together, rely on your learning teams, get to know the professors. It's compressed as well. It's only 6 weeks for most of these courses, and that's in part why it's so challenging. But we know that it works well for students. But I like to say up front, like when you come to us, be prepared that the summer is going to be a bit challenging, but we know you can get through it, and we have lots of resources to help you. So another course we have in the summer that I want to highlight here briefly is Bridge to Success. So Bridge to Success is a course that's within your curriculum. You do get a grade for it, but it is effectively designed to help you with the career discerning process. We know that many of you have decided to come here or are considering coming here because you want to use the MSM in a very specific way. You want to go to professional school. You want to use it to go into this sort of field of work or this industry. And some of you don't know what you want to do with it. In part, that's the value of the MSM. You want to figure it out, and we love that. So the Bridge to Success is designed to help you start that process. We kick it off very first day of orientation. Lisa Michaels, phenomenal career counselor who teaches the course and then works with you literally from day 1 to the final day, right, when you graduate, on finding that right career fit for you. She holds a series of marketplace overviews in the summer. So you get to hear from former MSM students on these panels in these specific fields to give you, the nuts and bolts of what's it like to work in these fields and give you an opportunity to get up, peek behind the curtain, so to speak, as you go through that discerning process. So I want to highlight that because I think, it's important. Yes, the academics are essential. You're coming here for the degree, but you're also coming here because you want to know what that next step is. And this is a big part of helping you with that next step. So the fall courses that you would take in our program would be, you take your first marketing course, a marketing principles course. You take your managerial accounting course. You take 2 accounting courses, one in the summer, one in the fall. You take your finance principles course, and you take a writing and speaking communication course within management. We also have our fall interterm, which is an opportunity for us to put into action in an experiential way some of the things that you've been either learning or in your classes, or some extra things that we feel like are valuable to you in your journey as a leader here. So those are your fall courses. Your spring courses would look similar to this. You take economic analysis. There's the ethics course that I spoke of earlier that we have in our program, strategic decision-making, process analytics, corporate finance, international management, and a spring interterm. So as you can see, you do get a wide breadth of courses. All 5 of the academic departments are represented here. You do go fairly deep into these courses, and we're really, really excited. So we have some fantastic faculty that teach in these courses, some award-winning faculty that teach in our program. And so that's an overview of the coursework. Spring interterm has been historically linked to travel, to immersion travel. We hope that that will continue for us in the future. But even when it isn't, even when we're not allowed to travel internationally, we do make the most of it with an international set of experiences this year in a virtual way tied to our international management class. So as you can see, we still want to make this as real as possible. So in terms of electives, because students generally always ask about electives, all students in the MSM program are eligible for electives. And what I mean by eligible is you do need to apply for them. We do ask you to apply for them. What elective are you interested in taking? Does it fit your schedule? Have you gotten instructor approval? And making sure that there are seats in the course and all those things. So just to give you a sense of potential electives, this is a very short list, but these are some electives that students have taken in the past. So you've got digital marketing, which is actually one of our more popular courses. We've seen an exceptional amount of growth in digital marketing. Actually, Mendoza added it as a minor, undergraduate minor, very recently. Sales and contemporary management. Sales is an excellent feeder industry for many students coming out of MSM. Managerial econ, investment, negotiations. And there is an opportunity to take courses outside Mendoza. Just to give you a brief example, we've had some students come into our program, this current cohort, who have interest in languages. Maybe it's Chinese, maybe it's French, etc. And so they've gotten instructor approval to take courses outside of Mendoza. Now, the electives that you do take, I want to say this is important. They're not extra cost to you. If it's beyond your degree requirements, you're allowed to take those electives at no cost for you. We do cap those, right? So we wouldn't say, oh, you can go out and take 9 credits of electives in a given semester, because we want to recognize, A, we're a challenging graduate program. B, you're probably also, looking for a career at the same time, which can be kind of a part-time job during different moments in the academic year. So we'll do a deeper dive right now, I think, into summer, because that's the most urgent or near-term facing semester. So those of you that would join us, we'd start orientation Monday, June 14th. It'd be a week-long orientation. We'd be on campus face-to-face. And then the very next Monday, we'd start our summer classes. So we have summer classes that would go 6 weeks from June 21 to July 30. And you'd be in class Monday to Thursday. Then we have a weekend break. And then you have what we call a 2-week sprint course. We have a 2-week sprint course with QBA, Quantitative Business Analytics, that goes from, it's 2.5 hours a day, 4 days a week for those 2 weeks. We would establish 2 cohorts, and what we normally do is allow students to express their preference for the cohorts and any reasons for why they need to be in that cohort. We can't obviously grant students, every student their first preference, but we do have an early start and a late start. So for the summer, you're looking at 9 to 2:30, more or less, for the summer session. And then the Bridge to Success course would meet 1 afternoon a week. That's the career course. And the late start would be 11 to 4:35. And the Bridge to Success course, actually that's typo, should say 1 morning per week. Anyway, we've got 2 choices here for you, which would enable you hopefully to make it work with whatever schedule you've got set up for yourself. So that's the deeper dive into summer. Here's a visual for this. I don't know how well you can see this, but just to give you a sense of, this is specifically this summer, what you'd be taking in what order. So you see we have a break built in with every class this summer. We don't want you to feel like you're in class literally all day, but the summer session is fairly compressed, right, and challenging. So there you go. You see we have no classes on Fridays. That's a deeper dive into the summer session. Statistics and business with Hui. He is, the faculty member is phenomenal. He teaches in multiple programs at the university. He teaches in the applied computational mathematical sciences program. And now we sort of poached him and got him teaching in our program. He's that good. Principles of Management is a course that I teach. In this course, you're going to get a broad overview of all the management concepts. So looking at strategy, how to think strategically, decision-making, how do you lead teams, how do you motivate people, how do you leverage emotional intelligence, all kinds of aspects of management. Financial accounting, you're going to look at balance sheets, how to read them, more the financial sort of internally facing externally faced pieces of accounting, and then a managerial accounting in the fall, look at more of those internal pieces or internally facing parts of accounting. And then you have Bridge to Success, the career course that I already talked about. So that would be your summer and then you'd have the 2-week sprint with quantitative business analytics. Okay, so I feel like I've given you a broader review of the academics and then a deeper dive into the summer. I want to give the opportunity for Phil to see if there are any questions, or let you know that there's my email for any questions you want to email me.
Absolutely. Excuse me. Thank you so much, Kris, for that. Very informational, especially even for me. Like I love learning about this program, seeing all the various aspects of it. One question that I've gotten several times, throughout the year, throughout the cycle, with the MSM curriculum, as you mentioned, it's that breadth piece and it's that depth piece where you're getting exposure to all of these various business principles. How does that help you with the next step? How does, of learning about marketing and management, but also finance and accounting, how will it be beneficial to learn about all of these various principles and ideas, even if maybe the job I'm looking for isn't necessarily an accounting job or isn't necessarily a finance position?
Mm-hmm. No, it's a great question. It's a question that students should be asking themselves at every level, not just a graduate program. And the way I would answer it is, every organization is run like a business. It could be the largest multinational organization all the way down to the smallest, nonprofit church in your local community. Every organization is run like a business. Every organization has to think about, um, how do we stay afloat? How do we stay in what we're doing? How do we stay, whether it's profitable or just maintaining ourselves? How do we lead our people? How do we keep in mind the events that are happening outside of us? But so yeah, let's just take an example, right? Accounting. Many students may say, well, I don't want to be an accountant. Why do I have to take 2 accounting classes, right? If I know exactly what I want to do. Well, here's the thing. We hope that we are training you to become ethical leaders to grow the good in business. And so if you're going to be leaders in the world, you're going to be leaders in your organization. You're going to be leading accountants, right? If you're going to be leading accountants and people in the marketing department and people in the finance department, you need to speak their language, right? You need to understand when you're in a meeting with them and they're throwing around terms, you need to know what they're talking about. You don't have to have a PhD in accounting, but if you're going to lead them, you need to know a little bit about the framework of the language. So that's how I would answer it. I think it is going to be useful for you to know accounting and finance and marketing, even if those aren't specific areas that you're going into.
All right. Thank you so much. Another question that we've gotten, and one that I get, is how can incoming students prepare for the program? You mentioned that, the summer is fairly rigorous, a lot of quantitative focus in the courses. As an undergraduate or as someone who is looking to, you know, join the program, what can they do to prepare for this 11-month sprint throughout the MSM curriculum?
Great question. I think that you and I and some others have been having some good conversations around some online courses that students might have access to. And I think what we'd probably end up doing is sharing some of those courses with students, and depending on their situation, giving them the option of taking this course as a really good refresher, or maybe not even refresher. Let's say you've never taken statistics, or you haven't taken a quantitative course in a couple of years, and that's okay. Um, Here's a course that you can go take on statistics. It's going to give you a lot of the topics that you're going to see in the summer course. Go through this course. It's a low stakes environment, right? There's no grade attached to it. It's on Coursera maybe. And then you can feel a little bit more confident going into the summer session. So I think we'll be able to share something like that with students soon. If they have if they want to get started now, right? Maybe they just email me or email you, and we can send that along to them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. At Mendoza, we're a very collaborative program. It's something that I've said in a lot of my webinars. You mentioned the cohort structure, kind of the importance of breaking up into cohorts to create smaller class size. Why do you think that this collaborative style that we very purposefully created within the MSM program is one that would benefit our students?
Hmm. Oh, so for so many reasons rather. I mean, pedagogically, we know that, let's say, project-based learning or collaborative learning really heightens students' engagement level in the classroom. And those of you that might have a background in neuroscience, you know all about this, right? Like when our engagement is heightened, memories are encoded, we learn things, we learn them for longer periods of time, we don't forget them right away. And so just from a learning perspective, it makes sense. But really, from a very practical perspective, this is how the world works, right? Every organization, relies on teams. And we're seeing now more and more organizations rely on cross-functional teams, right? You're not necessarily working with Bob or Mary from down the hallway, right? You're working with people across the country, across the globe, cross-functionally, cross-culturally. And to be able to work collaboratively in teams is just an essential career skill today.
All right, thank you. And for everyone that's joining, please make sure, as we're kind of wrapping up, we still definitely have time for your questions. Please feel free to throw those in the Q&A function. For those that are maybe joining us that aren't necessarily looking to apply for this coming year, but maybe down the road, or maybe, this year they're not quite sure, but next year they're looking to apply, can you speak to any more like long-term vision of the MSM? Obviously, details, excuse me, details are difficult, especially in an unprecedented time like this, as far as, dealing with a pandemic and everything like that. But I guess for you, what is your vision for the MSM out, or like maybe in a little more detail with those three goals that you mentioned?
Yeah, no, I love that question too. By the way, Phil and I are just having a great conversation right now, and you guys just happen to be on this webinar. But we have these kinds of conversations all the time. Yeah, I would say big picture, long term. The MSM program is going to become one of the premier programs in the nation. We want to be that. We feel confident we're on that trajectory, and we're continuing to refine both the curriculum and also the external to the classroom experiences that the students have. Whether it's the fall interterm, the spring interterm, the Bridge to Success career class. But I would say long-term, one of our goals is to add more of an elective type environment for students to have a bit more choice. Maybe even have concentrations where students could choose from, say, do I want to take a marketing focus or do I want to take a finance focus? Right, those are two very different departments, both in the business school, right? They may sound similar, but they're very, very different in terms of the kinds of ways they solve problems. And so we may have students that say, I want to attack things more from finance. I want to learn more about finance. I think I could see myself, I love working with numbers. I'm not afraid of Excel. I think I could see myself doing more with finance. I think I'm going to go down finance. We may have some other students that say, I know I want to be people facing. I want to work with people in my career. I think marketing would be exceptional for that. I want to go into management one day. Yeah, I'm going to go down this management path. So I would say big picture, we want to be able to offer some more choice for our students, even though the heart of an MSM program is we want to give you the foundation, right? This isn't a 5-year graduate program. It's a 10-month graduate program. So that foundation, it really does need to include certain courses. We want to elevate the program by adding more of that elective space.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Again, I get very excited hearing about this too. I love seeing the direction, even the last few years that the MSM has gone, and the future looks very bright for our program. Those are about all of the questions that have come through and that I've gotten so far. As always, thank you so much, Kris, for joining. And for those that are, maybe you think of questions later, or for those that are viewing the recording of this webinar and have questions, you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to Kris if you'd like for me to virtually introduce you. I'm more than happy to do that as well. But Kris, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything you're doing for the MSM program. It's been great working with you, throughout my time here, and I look forward to continuing to do so, for the next however many years until the MSM rules the world.
There we go. Well, thanks again for the invitation to the webinar. And Phil means it when he says, reach out to him with questions. We connect with students weekly, virtually through email. So please do send us questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Take care. Have a great day. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Remember, applications are due tomorrow by 11:59 p.m. for the St. Patrick's Day deadline. And go Irish. All right, everyone. Thank you and take care.